This is Music Over Matter, and today we're going to be creating our own album using the Weeknd's discography.
So we're going to be using songs already released in the Weeknd's discography. We were given a task. We had to create a title for the album, a concept, and we picked 7 tracks. We don't know what tracks we have yet, so if we do have duplicates, not allowed. We're going to have replacement tracks. Basically, we want to make a Weeknd album with an actual concept, but already using the songs on his discography. Yep. That being said, we want you all in the comments to vote on who has the better album, either me or Toby. And base this on the concept, the songs picked, how the songs flow, that sort of thing. So without further ado, let's get started.
My concept for this album is Abel escaping from LA and going back to his roots. The title of the album is Escaping LA. And my first track is The Morning. The reason why I picked this track is mostly because the line, Cali is the mission. In The Morning, Abel is not fully consumed by the LA lifestyle yet. With the line, visit every month like I'm split life living. He's not fully consumed by that lifestyle yet.
I like that intro track. The Morning is one of my favorite tracks on House of Balloons. And I think the beginning to that song specifically could work as an intro, like straight up, because it's a little bit slower, eerie, that sort of thing. Okay. Going on to my album. My album is called Die With a Smile. Okay. My concept is it's basically a love letter or Abel being lost. In the Weeknd's discography, the Weeknd is in a certain cycle where he wants love but doesn't really want it. He's like a constant toxic mess. But in this album, personally, if I were to have it in an actual discography, it would be placed after Hours instead of Dawn FM. Imagine Dawn FM being the good side that he goes, but in an alternate universe, he goes down deeper after Hours. Okay. Or this character. Basically, this concept, he is wanting to love this woman, and she doesn't want him back. Okay. And he is diving deeper. He's not trying to heal or nothing like that. This woman destroyed him. Okay. That being said, the first track, starting a little bit heavy, I'm going with Coming Down. Okay. The reason for this track is explaining having a party, that sort of thing, and he's coming down and wants her again. Mm-hmm. But in this sense, we'll change it up a little bit. Coming down means he's getting high to try to forget about her. Mm-hmm. And he's constantly coming down after the breakup or whatever. All right, first track done. What is your second track?
This one is slightly going to be off-putting, but I think that is the point. For the second track, I have The Hills. In this song, I feel like this is the true intro to the album. Before it was like a pre-intro, kind of just getting the mood right. But The Hills, it starts off with the loud boom. Yep. And that's a very contrast to The Morning. And this time, the Weeknd is totally consumed by the LA lifestyle. He's partying, drugs are being passed.
I also like that track from you as well. Yeah. Hey, you're creating a pretty decent start here because at the end of The Hills, when it's talking about the hills have eyes, that's kind of showing that he wants to get out of LA. Yeah, he hates the lifestyle, but also is too engulfed in it. This album is not a happy one. Yeah. Number 2 is Valerie. Okay. Coming off of Coming Down, he constantly wants her. And then the second track, Valerie, is basically him begging for her back. Basically a love letter to her. Yeah. Valerie knows everything about him. He wants her back. And this is where the intro, where he is in this dark pit of like depression and he can't get her out of his head.
I think your second song is perfect for the mood you're going for. But my third song is Tell Your Friends. Tell Your Friends has a similar vibe to The Hills. He's still talking about partying, but it's less aggressive as a song. This part will come later on, but he ends that whole song with living life so trill, which means, living life true, living life so real.
Just saying, if you haven't listened to the OG version, just look up Tell Your Friends OG on YouTube.
With
okay.
Kanye.
Yeah, with Kanye. I feel like everyone should listen to that song too because it's crazy. Yeah. Anyways, my third track, continuing down this spiral of despair for this character, Number 3 is Call Out My Name. We started with Coming Down, which is a calm, like he wants her back. Valerie is, he needs her. Mm-hmm. Now we have Call Out My Name, where this is a last-ditch effort.
Yeah.
He is desperate. He is desperate for her back. Why I also included Call Out My Name here is because it's different than Valerie. Mm-hmm. Valerie, he's talking about needing her, that sort of thing. Call Out My Name is a little bit more toxic. I need you back. I don't care about your problems. I need you back. Mm-hmm. I helped you. Like that sort of thing. Yeah. That's where the toxicity comes in.
It's crazy how much darker your album can be, having an actual almost bad ending to it, I feel like. Mine is...
We'll get there.
Okay. So for my 4th track, I have Adaptation.
Oh, banger.
One of the first lines he has in that song, other than like the intro, the chorus, he says, "But I choose the lie."
Yep.
Which is totally different than Living Life So Trill. Adaptation, I think, is the climax of my album, also being the middle of the album. The Weeknd is coming to his senses, being, I need to get out of here. One of the last lines on Adaptation, he says, "I let it go for a little fun." I'm thinking he is talking about a girl on this song, but I think that statement can be towards maybe Toronto. Maybe he's talking about Toronto. He left Toronto for a little fun. He needs to go back to his roots.
I love that track, Out of You. Adaptation is one of my favorite on Kissland. Kissland, this is a little bit foreshadowing for me. Kissland is my favorite Weeknd album of all time. Yeah. Moving on to track 4 from me. So last we had Call Out My Name, which he is getting a little bit more on the toxic side. Mm-hmm. Middle of the album for me is going to be After Hours.
Okay.
Because this, to me, is the most toxic, one of, if not the most toxic Weeknd songs ever. Because we're going from Call Out My Name, where he's saying, I need you, I helped you out, I need you. Now, After Hours is doubling down. Mm-hmm. Where are you now when I need you most?
Oh, yeah.
I need you here. Super, super dark, but at the same time, that's what I think the track After Hours is so good, because he's talking about these crazy toxic stuff with insane spacey production, the dice rolling in the background. Oh my God. What a climax. I love After Hours.
That is a great climax.
And I think it fits my theme perfectly so far.
Yep.
All right. Moving on to track 5 for you.
So for track 5, I have Escape from LA. I think this is another great come down from what he was thinking. So this is when he fully realizes that he needs to escape from LA, but he is still pulled in because that outro that he has, where he has sex in the studio, it says LA girl. So we know he's still in LA. He's still getting pulled in, but he knows he needs to leave.
Number 5 for me. So far in these 4 tracks, The Weeknd needs her back. He's getting increasingly more toxic. He deserves to have her almost, okay, right?
Yeah.
So then number 5 comes. This is After Hours, Echoes of Silence. To me, fits perfectly after Hours, because Echoes of Silence is now him almost accepting that she's gone. Mm-hmm. He knows all of his attempts to get her back are done. He's given up, and he's in this extremely dark pit that he's not getting out of. So that's number 5 for me. What's your number 6 as we finish up here, coming to the close?
All right. So my number 6 was I Was Never There. This one was a crazy pick, I feel like, because so at the end of Escape from LA, yeah, he has the sex in the studio, but one of the first lines from I Was Never There is, mindless sex is how he feels. He's knowing that, okay, so he's already done with his drugs. He's done with the drugs. That was earlier in the album with Adaptation. But now he's knowing that sex isn't it either. So this is when he fully realizes he needs to escape from LA. He's almost there. He's on the road to, I'm thinking he's going back to Toronto.
Number 6 for me. This was a hard one for me, Until I Bleed Out. Because now he's not only given up, but now he just wants to die. Yeah. He's given up given up completely. There's no getting out. He's done. At this point, to me, he's not begging with her. He's begging with himself, because he's saying, I want her out of my dreams.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to bleed out. He needs to die and get her out of his head.
Yeah.
All right, what is your closing track?
So my closing track is Snow Child. This is a happy ending album. He is finally escaping from LA, which with the last line, leaving into the night.
Yep.
I think he is on the road. He's back in Canada. He has fully gone back to his roots.
Fantastic album out of you. I love all the tracks you picked. I like how there's a mix of popular ones, but then low key, like fantastic tracks that people know less about. So my track 7, this is foreshadowing because I mentioned it earlier with Kissland. I had to include my favorite Weeknd track of all time somewhere on here, which is Tears in the Rain.
Yeah.
So from Until I Bleed Out, he's at the bottom. He wants to die. But my album has a little bit of a happy ending as well, kind of. You don't see his future, but you can see that he's accepted it. Mm-hmm. That women don't feel anything to him. They all feel the same. That he's accepted that she's not coming back. He's adjusted to the fame. And, of course, my title is a direct lyric from Tears in the Rain, which is the outro.
Yep.
Die with a smile. So he's accepting that he's going to die, but he's at least going to do it happy and not show the world that he's alone.
Yeah.
He's accepted his fate. He knows she's not coming back, but he's accepted his fate. Also, I don't feel like Tears in the Rain could be anywhere else but an outro.
Yeah.
Tears in the Rain is the perfect outro, especially with at the end of this saying she has no recollection of the life she has without me. So again, here he is toxic again.
Yeah.
He knows this woman's worse off without him, or he at least thinks so, and he's accepted his fate with the fame, knowing that no woman's ever going to make him feel anything again. And that sums up my album. So I want you to go through your title and all your albums one last time to sum up the video.
So the title is Escaping LA. First track, The Morning. Then it goes into The Hills. Tell Your Friends. Adaptation. Escape from LA. I Was Never There. And for the outro, Snow Child.
Fantastic track list.
Yeah.
Mine is Die With a Smile. First track, Coming Down. Second, Valerie. 3, Call Out My Name. 4, After Hours. Echoes of Silence. Until I Bleed Out. And Tears in the Rain.
Perfect album.
Banging. I think mine is bang. I think my songs actually flow. All right. Let us know in the comments who you think won this Create an Album. Also, let us know if you want to see us do any other artists. We, of course, listen to a ton of music, so we're down to do a bunch of different artists.